Song. Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host of the most Renaissance man, who always thinks he can, and your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back once again in the Yard of Streams for another edition of the Raw Rewind, presented to you by Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. It's not just me, Patty P, here in the Yard of Streams. I am joined as always by the best of the West you can't forget about Sara Marshall. What's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
Hola.
Hi.
Oh, Jesus, how you doing? Oh, man. It's that time of year. Sick, terrible. I'm not talking about that. What's going on with you? How's things?
It's going, you know?
You've had a busy couple days.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't stop, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't with you.
It's funny, though, because when I started covering the Patriots, this was in 2020. So it's like, as a fan, it's the worst possible time. You know, like
the worst. I'm out.
Yeah. Like
on.
COVID season, Tom Brady left. You know, the Patriots just go down, down, down.
Oh, we're going that.
And
okay. I didn't leave here. Yeah.
But then if you think about it from the perspective of like content wise, it's like the best time because there's only so many things that you can say about a team that keeps winning. You know, so
I've been part of that. I know.
Yeah.
I've been part of that. Like, I know how you feel. So
yeah. So, but anyway, so that's been interesting.
Yeah, and then you were covering the Bucks on Sunday night.
Yes.
Which that game was crazy. Fell asleep
know.
during it.
I know.
God,
I know. It was like, it was, I mean, it was kind of nice that it was like, you know, an actually competitive game because every other game was not really.
No, every game was kind of boring.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just like meh to sit through, where you finally had a game come down to the wire. It just so happened, thank God, it was a Sunday football game. And the fact that it came down to a Commanders field goal for the win, just that's nonsense to me.
Well, and then the games this weekend could potentially be blowouts too. So it's like that's fun. I love having like no competition to the championship games. That's great football, NFL.
Do you buy into the Ravens theory that they're like destined to win the Super Bowl this year? Have you not seen this?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay. So part of it, there's little coincidences that are going on that would make it seem like. Let me back up. There are coincidences that have happened in the NFL this year and in NFL history that line up with the Ravens winning the Super Bowl this year. Like, for instance, the Ravens win the Super Bowl every 12 years. And this is on their 12th year. When they won the Super Bowl in the 12th year, they have a 28-year-old quarterback. Lamar Jackson's 28 this year.
Oh, wow.
And then there's another theory that I saw yesterday where, see, I got to get better at comprehending these. They just talk so fast. But anyways, the theory is that there was, so this year's Final Four in the AFC is the same as last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. There's crazy shit. You got to, there's so much. They just talk so fast, Sara.
I mean, it would be pretty cool if that could be I just don't want to see the Chiefs. That's all.
Thank you. I love how we're in agreement there.
Yeah. So no Chiefs, and otherwise I don't think I care. I mean, if the Bills get in, yeah, I would be
Alright.
pissed, but if it was the Bills over the Chiefs, I kind of can't complain. I would just root for them to lose.
But
You
who
know?
do you want to not like who do you want to win, but who would you like to see win the Super Bowl this year?
I would love for the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. The Ravens are,
Out of every team?
I mean,
NFC and
I wouldn't
AFC.
be mad about the Lions either.
Okay. But you're more okay.
Yeah, well, I like Lamar Jackson. Like, I have a soft spot for Lamar, especially since he was almost a Patriot. So, yeah, it's one of those weird things that as a Patriots fan, it's like, wait, what? You're saying something positive about the Ravens because they were such a rival, but it's not the same Ravens. You know what I mean? And like, I like Lamar. So,
Yeah, Lamar, it's crazy how one player can shift that rivalry. It
mhm,
really is crazy.
yeah.
Because I do also like Lamar and would like to see him win one, but at the
Mhm.
same time, I need Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions to
What a
win.
story that would be, I think, too.
Oh my God. That would be that I think is what the world needs. The world needs a Detroit Lions Super Bowl win.
That's what I think the NFL needs. Like,
That's a
people talk
cleanse.
about how like, oh, the NFL was trying so hard to make the Patriots win Super Bowls. That's not true. They were trying to do the exact opposite. If we want to talk about them trying to get people to win the Super Bowl, it's the Chiefs. Okay, that's fact. But dynasties in the NFL are not good. It's like actually not a good thing. I think that having a team like the Lions win is actually more beneficial to the NFL to be like, okay, look at these were a team that were like cursed forever. They couldn't win anything. Look at all of this. Look at all this. And they finally made it to the playoffs. It's this historic thing. And then they win it all. Like that would be insane. But
If the Chiefs win the Super Bowl this year and become a dynasty,
they're already
it is living proof that the NFL is sports entertainment. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
yeah, it's never forget
We're
that the
gonna leave.
Patriots should have gone to 5 Super Bowls in a row.
God,
Just don't
we
forget
missed the
that.
kick.
Should have
We
been
missed the
49,
kick.
50, 51, 52, and
We
53.
talk about it all the time.
Mhm.
But let's hear what the peeps are talking
The
about.
wrestling peep.
Nathaniel, the wrestling peeps.
Hey,
Yeah, I don't think
Nathaniel,
so.
Nathaniel, that is
I don't
uncalled for.
I don't think that's gonna happen, pal.
I don't know if I've ever seen an NBA team win by 100 points. So, I mean, I would
Have
be
you ever
interested.
seen
I don't think I've ever seen a team win by
a
100.
team? Yeah, any a team. Like, have you ever heard in like the news or like
No, I don't think so.
college? There was one story in Texas where a girls basketball team was like suspended by the conference or something because they beat a team by 100.
Oh, geez, Louise. So for that reason alone, I would be kind of interested to see it happen. And if it was the Lakers, I mean, okay. So
And
do I.
I hope the Patriots have six. I really freaking do, man. This
I
might
have to
pick the
keep my
first
like
time around.
fangirl side like away from the internet because I've already started calling him my hottie head coach. And so like I just
I
say
mean,
that
he's very Dilfy.
he's
Like, look at that jawline.
it's not okay. When I tell you he was my first like NFL crush, like when little Sara was watching football, like I'm not lying. Like I had to defend him
He was the
because he had
man.
because he has like a bigger nose. It was very like triple HE. You know what I mean? And I was like,
Oh, it
no,
was
like
very
it's all
Hunter
about
Hearst.
Rabes. And now that he's the coach, I'm like, oh my God. You
It
know?
is crazy that he's the coach now. It was like it needed it to happen.
We got a
The
hottie head
bad guy,
coach.
Ayo. Sophia can do some entrances. Maybe. We'll see. Ayo to you. Marcus, hello. Welcome back. He's
Long time
happy to
no
be back.
see.
David's here. Was popping. The unhinged main event fro himself.
Hello.
Keep being unhinged.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Cause chaos. That's what we do. Well, he missed you, and then me too. So, but that's at you.
Kinda. Yeah.
That's at you. You're getting a lot of that, which is fine. Fly Eagles fly, baby.
You know what?
Fly Eagles fly.
That is painful and so uncalled for. It's mean.
I mean, if the Eagles were to win the Super Bowl, I really wouldn't fucking care.
I would
There's
no,
like there are only like 2 teams I'd be really pissed off.
I mean, if the Eagles won like over the Chiefs, I would be happy about it. Do I want them to do I want them to win in general? No. They're a clown franchise.
No,
Okay?
it's fun to watch them when they're all bickering and
No, they're a
up in
clown
arms in
franchise. They
Philly.
literally
That's
have
what
a
I'm
statue
saying.
of Doug Peterson and Nick Foles. That's
No, AJ Brown is reading the
I know, but
inside
that's good for
excellence.
us. That's good for us.
Yeah, you're damn right that's good for us because he's gonna reunite with his head coach. Come on. I know ball, Sarah. I know how this shit goes. Yeah, I'm not even putting up your comment, bad guy, because we don't talk about Big Dick Nick here. All right, this is happy.
You know what?
We don't talk about him here.
You
I
know
don't
what?
want to talk about that.
My quarterback threw for 505 yards in that Super Bowl, so I don't know what you're talking
Still
about.
lost.
Yeah, but you know
And
what? I don't
still
care
lost.
because he's the GOAT. Okay.
He did
But anyway,
lose, but
let's get into
a lot of
Raw.
wins. The lot of wins last night on Raw, Sarah.
Yes.
I don't care what you say. It was a lot of wins.
I think it was a better episode than the Netflix debut. Honestly.
I said it to you before. Last night's
I know.
show was for us.
Yes.
And
But see,
we deserve it. We
but that's the
deserve
thing is like
show.
I don't even want to argue. I don't want to argue about
I'm
it.
not arguing.
No,
What?
I'm just saying I was going to say
Oh,
this
you
is
don't wanna-
this is what the Netflix debut should have been. But whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
Go back and forth.
Anyway, so of course we have to have CM Punk start the show because why wouldn't we? He just comes out and says a whole lot of nothing. He gets interrupted by Seth Rollins. He doesn't say a whole lot of anything either. Drew McIntyre ends up coming out. They get into a thing, whatever. Basically, this whole thing was just about them individually declaring for the Royal Rumble. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, so I have a love-hate relationship with people declaring for the Rumble because you know who's going to be in the Rumble, but it's kind of nice when you don't have confirmation of it or of a lot of them because you want some sort of mystery. You know what I mean? I think that's just
Agreed.
because it's because I miss the way that the Royal Rumble used to be, where it was like, oh my God, how many legends are going to be there? Who's this and that? And I get that we don't need to do that anymore, but it's like, that's just where my brain always goes. So when we see, it's like, so far it's CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, LA Knight. I think that's it, right? That's all that's declared so far.
Cena?
Oh, and Cena. So I think there's 6 that we know of now. And could the Rumble be more stacked than, I mean, that's insanity.
That's what I mean. Like the Rumble now has got to a place where you're not relying on the legend to come in and save it with a huge pop.
Mm-hmm.
You need the legend to make that huge pop. That's what makes the Rumble the Rumble. But instead of 7 legends, you have like 2 and maybe more up and comers, NXT people who, hey, I don't really give a shit if they win or if they give you the illusion that they're gonna win. But to see them in the match, I'll say like a guy like Ethan Page
Trick Williams
facing off against like a Seth Rollins, in the Rumble, or even a Cody Rhodes. I'll take it a step further. They don't have to have much interaction and they don't have to go into a huge thing, but just that face off, you know what I mean? That just gives you that raw emotion that makes the Rumble what it is.
Yeah. And I think, we knew, like I said, that these guys were going to be in the Rumble simply because it's like, okay, well, none of them are going after Cody at this point. You assume that Cody's going to defend the title probably against Kevin Owens or something, whatever he's doing at the Rumble. We know that Gunther is going to be doing whatever, which we'll get to. Who knows what he'll be doing at the Rumble.
At the Rumble.
But I do think it's, in a way, like there's still some mystery. Obviously, we listed 6 people, so that means that there's still 24 guys that have not been made official for the match. But the amount of star power that's already in it makes it even more. You don't know. We still don't know the direction that they're going to go in. Like, we still have no idea who's going to be the winner. And I think having all of these people in it, like some of the top talent in the company, all be
Mhm.
in it, makes it even harder to figure out, which I'm into, because like some years you want that predictability, or not even some years, some PLEs you want that predictability.
You
And
do, yeah.
if we're talking about last
Mhm.
year, we all knew that it was probably going to be Cody. Like there was a lot that we kind of already thought
It
was going
was
to be happening, which
writing
ended
was
up,
on the wall.
yeah, if Punk hadn't gotten hurt, whatever, like things would have been exactly what we thought
But
was
you
going
knew
to
who the
happen.
Rumble
But
winner was going to be.
yes, we don't know that yet, and there's still time. But I mean, it's not often, I feel like, at least in this current era or even just a couple of years ago, that there's this many of like the top talent in there, or at least that you know of beforehand. So I think that makes the Rumble a little bit more interesting.
A lot more interesting.
Yeah.
Even though only one man should win, but that's one man's opinion.
Who, Punk? Are you saying Punk?
No, John
Oh.
Cena.
Oh, yeah.
John Cena needs to win the Rumble. I'm sorry. I don't care. All right. If there's a year to have a throwaway winner where it's for a good cause and it's to honor somebody, let's give it to John Cena, who gives him that championship match at WrestleMania. And
loses.
I'm not even saying he wins it. I'm on your theory.
Yeah, he has to lose.
I like that. I really do. So, are you getting the comments?
Yes. So Richard say you can tell Triple H
promoting.
is saving his female returns for the Rumble. Yeah, as long as he doesn't overpack it, because I hate when it's like half of the female entrants are legends that aren't going to win. Like I don't like that. And I don't think they need to do that anymore. I think there's enough talent in the women's division that they don't have to do that. Marcus says this Royal Rumble is going to be wild. He believes the final people are going to be Roman, Seth, Punk, Cena, maybe Drew. Seth eliminates Punk, and then maybe Punk versus Rollins at Elimination Chamber. Then Seth wins. I mean, I'd be into it. Oba Femi versus Braun in the Rumble. That would be very cool.
God, Oba fucking Femi. He's my favorite NXT dude right now. His entrance, top 5. Top 5.
Marcus says then Mania will be Punk versus Seth. I don't hate it, but I don't know. I still think we have to remember Paul Heyman's connection in all of this.
There's a reason Punk, there's a reason for Paul Heyman with Punk,
Yeah. Gunther is defending at Saturday night's main event. He is taking the Rumble off. Interesting. I'm not mad about that. I hate who he's against, but we'll get to that. I'm not into Roman winning. Roman is Roman Reigns. He does not.
If anything, I want to see Roman Reigns get thrown over like immediately by like a Drew McIntyre or something.
I need Drew McIntyre to eliminate CM Punk. That's what I need.
If Punk's not going to win the Rumble, okay.
Yes. Yeah, I need Drew to get his final revenge, because I don't care what anybody says about what happened over this past year between Punk and Drew. Punk got way too much he did way too much to Drew for him just accidentally injuring him in the Rumble. He made him lose the title at Mania, and then he prevented him from winning the title again 2 or 3 more times after that. So to me, I'm like, no, he can eliminate you again and make sure that you don't get your WrestleMania main event. You know what I mean? Like that to me is the ultimate revenge that Drew deserves.
That's a cherry on top.
Yeah, that would be like, oh my God, I would die. I would be dying. Marcus says maybe The Rock comes in as a surprise and eliminates Roman because Cody and Rock still haven't fought. I think maybe them doing that thing at the Netflix premiere.
Good question, Sarah. Would you like to see The Rock in the Rumble this year?
I don't.
If we're not going to get him a Mania.
See, I don't love that, because I feel like if they're going to have him do something at the Rumble, then it would have to lead to something at Mania. You know? Because otherwise, why is he coming in and doing that? You're saying then we have to wait another year to see like the payoff. So that's the thing, is like,
Okay. All right. Just curious.
Let's
Is all.
see. He says he forgot about Marcus said he forgot about Paul. Yeah, so it's possible that we see him do something for Punk in regards to Roman, because everybody is thinking like, okay, maybe we get Roman versus Punk. But we also did see Drew.
Good.
Seth wanted his match against Drew last night. Drew, I love it when the heels do this, when they're like, let's go, and then they're like, yeah, no, I'm not fighting you, and people are like, oh my god, he's so scared. No, he's not. He's controlling you. Why would anybody that hates you or like you're in an argument with do something that you want them to do? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I love. I love that Drew is doing that. And we're going to see Drew versus Seth next week, which
Thank God.
I'm excited because it's going to be absolute fire. But I'm also bummed because I'm still holding on to hope of Seth teaming with Drew and teaming with Kevin. Okay.
Yeah, that's the chatter I want to squash, because I'm seeing a lot of that online, and based on what we're seeing on our television screens, that isn't happening anytime soon.
I know. And I'm bummed because that is, I'm sorry, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Because if you want to kind of like frame Cody, Roman, and Punk as kind of like corporate stooges or something like that, have them go against the guys that like are loyal and like defensive of WWE. Like, it's such like an interesting dynamic because it's like they kind of are all doing the same thing, but not in the same way. You know what I mean? Because it feels like what Punk and Cody and Roman have done, people might say it's like, oh, they're disrespecting the company or they're disrespecting themselves or whatever based on what they've done. And the other guys are like, no, like WWE for life. Like, we care about this and you guys don't.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of thing would be interesting to me because it is so layered. You know, it's not
There's a lot of layers to it.
Yeah, it's not the easy like good guys, bad guy thing. You know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of gray on both sides. And so like to me that's interesting, and I get it's like a weird crossover because Roman and Kevin and Cody are on SmackDown, but like they said that stuff on Netflix is going to be kind of fluid. So
it's canon. It's canon.
We'll see. You know, Drew versus Seth, it could get to a point where, you know, one of the things that wrestling does all the time is like formerly heated rivals are like, hey, we have respect for each other. We have a common enemy. Let's team up. You know, that it doesn't always make sense, but it's wrestling. So I'm just going to keep the hope alive because I think that would be
keep that hope alive. You know do
what?
that.
I'm probably going to get disappointed, but it is what it is.
No, see, hey, positive thoughts
create
positive results.
Okay. We'll see. Anyway, so the worst kept secret in the business debuted last night. We saw Chad Gable versus Penta, and my gosh. Okay, before we even get into the match, first of all, his presentation.
Incredible. 10 out of 10.
10 out
of 10.
And pleasantly, yes. So first of all, the presentation in general, the spotlight on him, the song saying Cero Miedo, fire. Okay. Like the music was actually not bad, which it's Def Rebel.
I didn't hate it. I heard it before. It got leaked.
Oh, really?
And I heard it before. And I was like, okay. And I think it's because their one in AEW was so good. Like the Lucha Brothers one. It's like I would listen to it to this day. But when you have that as a banger and coming into, it's not WWE's problem. It's Def Rebel's problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it comes in. But because it's Penta, you don't care. Like I didn't care what was playing in the background. You know, it was the presentation of him walking out with the smoke, him doing the little cryptic walk that he does. Like
my friend said, it's like the Pink Panther. I was dying.
That's a good comparison. It's very Pink Panther-esque.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's an aura that not a lot of guys who made their name outside of WWE could have coming
Mhm.
into this new world that is
Yeah.
WWE. And especially now with Triple H in charge, you're going to get the same version that was on the indies or in AEW
Mhm.
before, but it's going to get an upgrade.
Yeah.
There's going to be an upgrade. Yeah, you may not be in the best story to start, but you're going to have your character be strongly protected.
Well, and I think what I was pleasantly surprised with was the crowd reaction, because obviously WWE fans get the label of being uninformed or uncultured in professional wrestling, because
They are.
people just slap this on them that, oh, all they do is watch WWE. They don't know about anybody outside of WWE. And this completely disproved that, at least in San Jose. Like,
It's
I'm not.
silenced it. I would
Yeah.
say it's silenced it. San Jose is a big crowd for them to know who Penta is, so they're in a good market for
Yeah.
him to debut. Better than Nebraska or somewhere in
Well, and
Arkansas.
I'm sure it was intentional. You know what
Very
I
much
mean?
intentional. That's
Yeah.
why Triple H knows ball.
Yeah.
But it's part of that, and you're right that there is a label, and it is for the most part true.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some that step outside and will watch TNA or
But
like.
I
Or can
also
I
think,
just mention that Lucha Underground got mentioned
I
last
know.
night? That's crazy, Sarah.
But see, I also think that, like, in a way, you can kind of give credit to AEW a little bit, because as long as TNA has been around, it's been a while since they had a program like on television that if you were flipping through the channels, you could, see it on TV.
It's not on
Um,
Spike TV anymore, baby.
yeah, and
I
so
miss those
I
days.
think it's even if you are a WWE fan, like, you can be watching other television shows and any channel that is associated with Max or TBS or whatever, like,
Hmm.
you're gonna see a commercial for AEW. So as a WWE fan, you're still going to be exposed to the product that you don't watch. Like, you're not going out of your way to see it. So I think that um people who are not inclined to look at dirt sheets or on the internet and, like, kind of trying to dig and be like, okay, who is this person that they're teasing, um they probably have heard of the Lucha Brothers, or they have heard of Penta. So I think
Yeah.
you saw that, and I loved that he got such a pop. I loved to see his daughters, like, so emotional. um Also, because I think that shows, again, like, when people try to say people don't dream about going to WWE anymore, brother, shut the up. Yes, they do. You know what I mean? Like, because we're still in a generation where everybody that is still coming to WWE, or, like, coming up training to be a wrestler, they grew up watching WWE. We are not in an era yet where they said, I grew up watching AEW and I wanted to be a wrestler because of AEW. Those people aren't old enough yet. Like, we're not there. So yes, I'm sure it was a huge deal for Penta and his family to, like,
My
see
God.
him on Netflix in WWE in a singles match, like, and it
Kicking
was
off the show essentially.
and it was incredible. It
Oh
was
my
so
God.
good. There were no commercials. Like,
No commercial. They got time. They got a lot of time, Sarah. Well
yes.
deserved too.
Yeah.
And it's just not. I mean, we talked a lot about Penta here, rightfully so. But Chad Gable, it takes two to tango. He
Yes.
did an incredible job too. Their
Mhm.
styles really meshed well together.
Yeah.
You could like the mat stuff. They were going tit for tat
Yeah.
on the mat. It
Well,
was
and
nice.
even, like, the more acrobatic-y stuff, because, like, obviously when
Oh
you're a
yeah,
luchador, like, you're more
you're acrobatic. You're gonna
yes,
be a high
and
flyer.
Gable is more, like you said, on the mat, technical type of guy. So when you think
He's
about
gonna out
those, like,
wrestle
you
you.
compare them on paper, you're like, this isn't gonna work. But I think Gable's size, and then of course, like, his athleticism and
Is
his
incredible.
experience, made that match as good as it was. Because there's plenty of matches that you can look back on and watch again in the future where there's a luchador in the ring and whoever they're wrestling can't hang. So you can't like they might not be bad wrestlers, but they can't hang with that style. And so like I think he was the perfect first opponent for us to really see what Penta can do.
Oh, that move, the move that stood out to me other than the finish
The
was
Mexican
it was
Destroyer.
outside the ring. Yeah, the head scissors beforehand though.
Mm-hmm.
Like the transition from that into the Mexican Destroyer was phenomenal. And then I do like how he got essentially the win with the signature and finisher. So we know, so WWE fans know, okay, these are his finishers. These are his moves where you know, all right, he's going for it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of questions right now because obviously he made his name on the indies. The package pile driver is very much in play.
Yeah.
You know, that's not a banned move. And he has a couple other ones I forget that probably wouldn't fly in the Fed. So, you know, it was nice to see the sacrifice. I think that's going to be one that's nasty. That looked like it fucking hurt. And then what was the last one? It was that, and then oh, why am I blanking on it, Sarah?
I don't know.
That's tough.
But anyway, I do like that they're allowing him to be himself. I mean, you could even do that, like you could mention that with the interview post match. They let him talk as long as he wanted to talk. They let him speak Spanish, which that is not something that Vince would love, especially for how
Spanish.
That much. Yes. He was okay with Spanglish, but let's not forget, like
you got to throw buzzwords.
Sin Cara was
Sarah.
basically fired for, I mean, multiple things, but part of it was because he didn't speak much English. So it's like, let's, so that was pretty cool too. And it was cool that as much as I didn't agree with WWE Shop, like leaking Penta merchandise before.
That was insane. I thought that was a troll.
I did too.
I thought that was a troll.
There were people in the audience in Penta masks. So I do think that was pretty cool.
Boom. Then that's where, there it is. We just answered our own question. That's exactly.
So that was the reason why I was like, okay, you know what I mean? Because that must have been pretty cool for him to see in his debut match. Like there are people who paid $70-something to get your mask already, 75. And they haven't even seen you yet. Like that's pretty cool.
I want one. I low key want one.
A mask. Is that what you say?
Yeah, I want a Penta mask. Like if I'm gonna get one,
it is pretty cool. It'd get cool to get signed and to have displayed. You know, Marcus says it was dope. There were 5 stars. I would say, or he gave 6 stars. I think Nathaniel hopes that he does well. I hope so too. Alonzo says he looked like a superstar. 100%. They really did. He looked awesome. Incredible debut all around. Sometimes debuts aren't great, but the fact that they actually gave this match time and they let him, like I said, be himself. It wasn't like, oh, we're going to get the WWE version of what he is. That was cool.
What do you think of people saying that, the reports of people saying that?
I don't believe it.
I don't either.
I don't believe it. Yeah. If you guys did not see, there's like these rumors going around that like talent were pissed off that they went over and that hindered other things. And I'm like, okay, what else did it hinder though? Because first of all, you went 2.5 hours. You didn't go like 3 hours and 5 minutes. You know what I mean? And I get that like they probably booked it for 2.5 hours. So, you know, maybe they went a couple minutes over or whatever. But to me, that match didn't feel like it went on too long. I don't feel like there was any way for them to have cut it shorter where you would have felt it made sense. You know what I mean? Like I feel
it didn't feel like it dragged. I'll give you that. It didn't feel like it dragged. It didn't feel like that they were, trying to get as much time and screen time for him on his debut. It didn't feel like that.
What I find odd is that all of the other reports are like, oh, WWE brass were so happy with his debut, with the match, with what he was saying, with the merch, whatever. But then you're saying that the talent wasn't. Like that doesn't make any sense. It also is pretty weird for any talent to speak up about that about a guy that just debuted. Like that's
Yeah,
weird.
exactly.
That's why I don't believe it. Like, because who are we
And
talking about? Also,
I mean,
like,
we can end the show with this conversation, but the entirety of the show is only 2.5 hours.
yeah, that's what I
Last
said.
week was no. I
Yeah.
mean, we can have like a bigger discussion about
Oh,
that after the end. But like last week was 3:10
yeah,
at least. This
yeah.
week was close to 2:30 on the dot as possible.
Yeah, I think it was
Time is not.
2:33 is what it
Yeah,
was. Yeah.
2:30 and change. Time is not something that they are worried about. I read a report online that because they have this deal with Netflix and it's a streaming service, they're not taking advantage of the time. They're still doing what they plan to do internally and
Mhm.
keep to a structure so that you don't get lackadaisical. You don't just throw shit at a wall just because, oh, we have the time, why not? No, if it doesn't make sense for the show, then don't do it. I
Yeah.
love that mentality because it keeps the engine going and it keeps things fresh. You're not
Mhm.
just soaking, like taking a towel and soak or squeezing as much water out of it as possible. There's no reason for that.
Well, and I think most people's reaction to it ending at 2:33 was like, "Oh wow, that's it." Like we
I
knew
did.
that there was
That
going to
was
be but that's
I
good.
did
That
that.
means like the show went by fast. You know what I mean? And
Oh, I
generally
wasn't mad.
when shows go by
Not mad
fast,
at
that
all.
means okay, well you were really invested in what was happening because otherwise it would be dragging. So I don't know. I kind of don't buy into the negative stories. It's
Is
just hard
it,
for me to
it
believe.
is it a bit nonsensical to think that The Rock or Roman Reigns was going to come out to end the show? Like when I have been so brainwashed
Oh
over the
yeah.
past like however year and a
Yeah.
half that oh yeah, it's the last match, but don't we got Roman coming out. He's
No.
gonna say some words. The Rock, he's got to make his presence. Like I've been so brainwashed that like that match ended. I was like, all right, who's gonna end the show with a Tommy
Yeah.
segment? And then just like executive producer Paul
I
Levesque.
know.
Like,
I
oh,
like
okay.
yeah, I know. I was like, "Oh, whoops." Anyway, I was trying to think of what the main event was. I was like, if this isn't the main event, then what is? But that's fine. Anyway, so since Liv Morgan lost the Women's World Championship against Rhea Ripley, she is now dealing with the drama of Dominic Mysterio because obviously if you guys watched that episode of Raw, the Netflix debut, then you would have seen that little troll get into the ring and try to hug Rhea after she won. And so he
Little
had some
troll.
explaining to do to Miss Liv, brought her a bunch of roses, and she tried to say, like, I'm not mad, I'm not mad, I'm not mad. Dom Dom, being the dumb dumb that he is, believed her, which I loved that, like, the others in Judgment Day were like, you're an idiot. Like, she's very clearly mad, but like, whatever.
Yeah, dude, we've been there. We know
Yeah,
that face, dude. Come on.
so
We've lived it.
clearly they're trying to do something here, and I don't love it. Is that a surprise? Um,
I'm
the
sorry. Did you say you don't love something?
Yeah, I don't love it.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, but the reason I don't love it
Not sure.
is because I I don't want something to happen between them yet. I don't want a breakup. I don't want any leading tension. I don't want anything because I don't want it to be Liv loses the title, then she breaks up with Dom, then she's like back to mediocrity. Like I don't want that. Like I want them to keep building on what they have right now because I think what they have is good. And if they're going to do something with Judgment Day, that's fine, but I don't want that to involve Liv and Dom splitting. Like I don't want that yet. So that's why I'm not super into this idea because they're still teasing this whole thing with Finn, obviously.
Yeah.
But now they've added this extra layer to
Layer.
it by having Liv and Dom have some issues. And so that's the part where I'm like, I don't know.
See, my question to you is, do you think Liv is outgrown Dom? Like she's got too big for her. She doesn't need Dom to be her lackey anymore. That's where I see it going. That's why I
Mhm.
don't care about the breakup. You know what I
But
mean?
can you say that when she just lost the title?
Yes, 1,000%. There's a
So
transfer window going on. She can go to SmackDown. She could. Her and Raquel are doing stuff. They could go.
She can't go to SmackDown.
It's an option. I'm not saying she should, but it's an option in kayfabe we're talking about. And
Mm.
she has Raquel Rodriguez as her muscle. The tag team division, women's tag team division, needs some bodies in there. I hate to say it, but it does. And they did that with Bianca and Jade. I mean, why not? Liv's a star anyways. Like,
I think
bring her star power to things that need elevating.
I'm just like concerned about what their plans are for her, just in general. Like, even if she moves to SmackDown, that gives her a bunch of new people to deal with and whatever, which I mean, not necessarily because she was just on SmackDown like not that long ago. But I'm just concerned because this is why I also like did not want her to lose the title, because it feels like you don't really have to worry about this kind of thing when you're talking about Rhea Ripley. Like, Rhea can go and do whatever she wants. Like, it's not a
Yeah.
problem. But they clearly don't necessarily have a well drawn out plan for Liv post championship run. And that's the thing that I am concerned about, because I feel like regardless if you like her or not, if you're a fan or not, whether you wanted her to lose the title or not, you can't say that she didn't like really do a good job during her run, given
She did fantastic.
what she was given, So to me, I feel like she's proven herself to be capable of doing whatever they ask her to do or doing more than what they want her to do. And so I would be disappointed if this is the route they're going and like that's all that they have for her right now. It's like there should be more to it. We shouldn't be relegating her to being in a tag team with Raquel. We shouldn't be just moving her to SmackDown for the sake of it. Like, don't break her up with Dominic because you don't know what else to do. Like, that's why I think I just get a little concerned,
All right, fair. It's valid.
Yeah, I know I'm kind of biased, but I also,
Without Dom, I don't think this. I don't think she's heatless. That's the
a
thing. I
lot
think
of a lot
because
of people
Dom,
feel that way.
a lot of people do, but I found a reason to post this clip. I'll say it again. But some wrestling fans lack the ability to critically think, in the fact that you have them be a complete heat magnet, but Liv, even before Dom, was gaining a lot of heat with how she was acting, like the pretty girl next door, the hot girl that guys want to be with her and girls
That stole your man's.
that stole your man and hate to be around her. Like, she gives off that energy. It's very easy to boo. And as we've mentioned clearly on the show here a lot of times, she did not have a lot of clean title defenses.
Mm-hmm.
That's the type of heel that you're gonna boo and gain heat. I think she does a fine job with that. She's got it. All right. So
Well,
that's why I don't mind it going away. I let Dom be by his own and let's see him gain a championship. Like, let's see him become like US champ or United Intercontinental champion when Braun Breaker just feels like he's done with it.
yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. It's like, what are they even really doing with
Could you imagine
Judgment Day?
if Dirty Dom pins Braun Breaker in 2025? That'd be awesome.
I hate Nerd says Rhea Ripley needs to move to SmackDown. She cannot be on Raw forever. True, but they won't move her. Because actually SmackDown women need to be moved to Raw because they don't have enough. That's why they're probably going to move Nia or Bayley, because
I liked Nia on Raw last night.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. But
I have more thoughts than that.
I don't have a whole lot to say about this. We all knew Sheamus was going to beat Ludwig Kaiser again. I hate it. Absolutely hate it, but whatever. But they went back to teasing Sheamus versus Braun Breaker, which if this is just going to be what the WrestleMania matchup is for these guys, I'm into it. I just need to see more from Braun Breaker than him just being an audience member as the Intercontinental Champion. Like, I get that's fine, but we've barely seen anything from him since he won the title back. Like, that's not making me invested in him having a potential Mania match with Sheamus. You know what I mean? Like, I need to buy in more. I need you to do more with Braun Breaker. Like, I want to make it. I want to believe that Sheamus has absolutely no chance to finally become a Grand Slam champion. You know,
Still
and
think
you what?
I still think he has no chance. Look at Braun Breaker. He's gonna tear him in half.
Well, we're talking about 3 months from now. So
But I don't. But that's my thing. I'm saying he's gonna squash him in half. I don't see it being I don't see it being 3 months from now. Them at Mania, because it's just, if they're gonna do it now, and I don't know. I feel like there's bigger things that Braun Breaker could do at Mania.
then Sheamus.
Put Sheamus, him, get another guy like triple threat. Like, I want to see at Mania. Like, I want to see a multi-man match for the.
I don't know if we need another multi-man intercontinental title match. Sheamus was just in one
at
2 years
Mania.
ago. 2 years ago, yeah. Gunther and Drew McIntyre. Hello.
Yeah, that's I very much remember that match. I'm saying I want another one.
I know, and I'm saying I don't think we need one. Is all
right.
I'm
Well,
saying.
let us know in the comments below if whose side you're on, because we both make great opinions.
You know what, sir? You know what, sir?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Even you don't even think that. So stop cheering. You don't think that.
I don't think that, but I found that shot from the dark hilarious. But oh, you're reading. Okay, I was like,
You know what's going on here?
wow.
What is going on here?
I don't think it's him, but he's right. He's gonna have to lose it sometime.
What's going on here?
That's the nature of life.
What's going on here?
But I don't think it is to him.
Is this gang up on Sara Day? Is that what it is? Is that
I don't know. Let me check. Let me just roll it up. There we go. Yes. That says yeet, Sara.
Okay, so one of my worst possible outcomes for this was Gunther having to face Jey Uso, and that's what happened. I cannot tell you how pissed off I was when this man's music hit. I was like, why do you need to be here? Why do you need? But see, this is my thing, okay?
I loved it.
Why do they not know what to do with Jey Uso? That's something I want to know. Why do they keep throwing him into these like random matches? Like, they don't know what to do with him outside of the bloodline vortex. That's the thing that I find odd. Like, why can't there be something concrete? Why can't he have like a legitimate storyline with somebody that does not involve the bloodline? Why can't somebody just be like, I hate you, Jay? And then that's the, that's the start of their beef. Why is it like they threw him into the Intercontinental title scene and now they're throwing him at Gunther? It's like, what are we doing?
Sara, what his moniker is? He's main event Jey Uso.
I'm sorry, we're not having this argument. He's not a main eventer. He's not.
It's in the name, but he's not a main eventer, but he has to get there at some point to make it true, or else it's a stupid name.
He's not.
So you have to put him in the main event picture to see how he does in the main event picture.
He's a main eventer as a tag team. He's not a main eventer.
Now you sound a lot like the Austrian.
It's because he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
He's working there. Like there's a lot of potential with Jay. I've seen so much progression with Jay that, like, yeah, all right. If he wins the title, we're having a different conversation. It's gonna be very different.
I think you're misunderstanding. Okay, you're misunderstanding, I think, a little bit. He is like one of the most over baby faces in the company. So I'm not disrespecting that at all. Obviously, people like him. Obviously, people want to see him going for a championship. Although Michael Cole did misspeak and say that he hasn't won a singles championship before. Yes, he has, Michael. It wasn't that long ago that he was Intercontinental Champion for a month, but whatever.
Yeah, because he used himself.
I think it's, even though I do not think that Jey Uso is a main eventer, I'm not like entirely upset about this happening, like this match happening at Saturday night's main event. I'm more so mad about the timing. And that's just because I've said over and over and over again for the past, 4 or 5 months since Gunther became champion, I want him to have a real feud. I want him to have a storyline. I don't want people to just be thrown to him randomly so that he has a match. Like, I don't want that. And this could become like a little mini feud, but it's literally like in less than 2 weeks is Saturday night's main event, and I'm sure that's where it's going to end, because then it's going to be like the Royal Rumble, and they're going to be dictating like whoever wins the Rumble, who are they choosing, and then whatever champion they don't choose, then that's going to be the focus of the Elimination Chamber. So it's like, this is probably not going to be something that goes beyond the next 2 weeks, and that's why it's like, I wish that this was something different. I would rather it be like
So you'd be
something.
more invested if this became something. Like if this, like, yeah, it starts out how it is, whatever now, but if they got into a heated rivalry because of this, or
Well,
Gunther drew the line of something, like something to tip it to being more than just for the title.
yeah, I wouldn't be happy about it, because I still don't view him on the same level as Gunther, but like at least it's like, okay, there's some substance to this, or if what they were trying to do with Gunther was kind of similar to what Cena was doing when he was US champion and was doing like an open challenge every single week, like why can't we do that with Gunther? Because then he would just win every week. He would win, and like assert that domination over everybody. Like I would be more into that than them randomly like not having him on TV, and then he's just getting thrown some random person, and then he's like not going to be on the Royal Rumble. Like it's just like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't know. We got some haters in the chat, bro.
We got a lot of, well, his thing, Gunther is not the most well liked in the IWC, and again, it's because wrestling fans lack the ability to critically think. And when it comes to the character of Gunther,
I
they
forgot.
lack.
Yes. No, when we've talked about this before, where people have a hard time giving credit to wrestlers that they're not supposed to cheer for, or wrestlers that they don't like. They have a hard time crediting them for having good mic skills, or they're good in the ring, or they're super over. Like I said, I don't love Jey Uso. I don't really understand why people are so into him, but I give him credit for obviously like everything that he accomplished as a tag team wrestler, everything that he's accomplished since he broke out, main eventing at WrestleMania, like getting this over with the fans. Like I can give him credit for that. Like I don't get it, but like I respect it. But I totally forgot. Yeah, Jay said he was going to be in the Royal Rumble. This is weird. I think this might have more to do with they needed something for Saturday night's main event, and that Gunther's not going to be defending the title at the Rumble. That's probably what it is. Excuse me. You know what? Why do you say something good and then you say this?
That just feels like that's bait, Sarah. That is bait.
Well, see, but then he says something good. Gunther needs to face legit talent like Seth Rollins, CM Punk. I agree. That's one of my problems that I have, right? Like I wouldn't be mad. So this is the thing. I get why having like an open, like a world heavyweight championship open challenge is not great, because we're not talking about the US title, we're not talking about intercontinental title. However, it would actually give something for Gunther to be doing, because they have Drew McIntyre caught up in a storyline. Seth Rollins is in a storyline. CM Punk is in a storyline. John Cena's not going to be around every single week. Bronson Reed is gone. Like it's everybody that he could easily be going up against is already so invested in something else that it's taking away almost every person that's on his level that he could have a storyline with or defend the title against. So it's really like an unfair circumstance that he's having to deal with. And I get it. Yeah, there might be doing the Goldberg thing, and I'm just gonna fuck. He is not going to cost him the match. Stop it right now. If I swear to God, if Gunther loses to Jey Uso, I will lose
because of a Goldberg spear. Yeah. Sarah, I think that's your Bermuda Triangle right there.
That is like hell on earth for me. That's almost tough. As bad as being trapped in a room with Matt Riddle. Okay? Like,
I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to deal with that for the sheer fact that I don't want to deal with you.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to deal with
you. You're pretty
either.
cool. You're like a pretty cool gal. But dealing with that, you're not gonna be cool. You're just not.
No. You're
Like,
right.
it's funny. Like, I'd find it really hilarious in the moment, but it's
No.
one of those things where it's funny in the moment, and then you look back and like, oh, that wasn't.
Yeah, and then you
I
come
wish
back
we
down
didn't
to
do that.
reality and you're like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
not in a
yeah."
fantasy. Yeah, it's tough.
Mm, yeah.
It is really tough out here.
Um, so to the
Bring
women's
that,
division,
bring.
we did finally get
Fuck
to see
you.
the women's
Fuck
intercontinental
you.
championship finals between Lyra Valkyria and Dakota Kai, which was a great match. And if I'm being honest, I was a little bit surprised. I really thought, and no disrespect to Lyra, kudos to her. Congratulations, girl.
Yeah,
Like,
congratulations to
yeah,
Lyra. 'Cause
I
I said I
I
was Team Coda too, so I want to get that out there. Big
I
fan that you won it, but
I didn't pick a side. I just was thinking like everything seemed to be lining up with Dakota winning. That was the reason why I thought it was happening. It was just like everything that we've been seeing, the subtle hints that we've gotten, and just the way that they've been trying to push her. I was like, oh, they're giving it to her, because like she had been getting this like little push since she came back, whereas Lyra, not so much. So that's why I was like, oh, it's Dakota. But no, it's Lyra, and so that is pretty cool, because I would like to see her more on TV. I hate when somebody who is so over and so big in NXT and you're like, okay, that's gonna carry over to the main roster because they don't have like a uh they're not such a specific character gimmick whatever that's like not going to transfer well to the main roster. That's not the case with
mhm.
Lyra. I hate when they like fall off the face of the planet once they get onto the main roster. So to me this is like, okay, cool, like the Intercontinental Championship for the women is being treated like a workhorse title the way that the Intercontinental Championship is for the men. And so that's exciting because I feel like Lyra has a lot of potentially like really good opponents that she can face for the title, and that's exciting for me because I want to see more from the women, like the mid-card women.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. I wanted to see if you found it interesting that the secondary champion or the mid card, champion on SmackDown is a heel, and
Mm-hmm.
we have the Intercontinental mid card being a face. Do you think that was planned? Like or is this just
I mean, potentially. I also don't. I feel like that shouldn't matter. Like, I get when people say it's like, oh, all of the top champions are heels, like whatever. But like, why does it matter as long as it makes sense with what they're currently doing? You know what I mean? Like every single champion on the main roster could be a babyface right now, and it's like I would complain simply because I love heels. But if it made sense with what their stories were, I don't really feel like there's room for complaints. You know what I mean? So I don't feel like they need to worry about flip flopping because then you could also argue, well, Rhea just won the women's world championship and she's a babyface. So why do they need another babyface women's champion on the same show?
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do think that this creates a lot more opportunities for the Raw women's division in general because obviously one of the biggest gripes that I think most people have when somebody like a Rhea Ripley, when somebody like a Nia Jax are the champion, that they don't have a lot of talent that actually can like stand next to them and like be equal to them because they're so much bigger, they're so much stronger. And now we have Lyra, who's not a bigger and stronger girl than a lot of the other girls in the mid card, and so we're gonna see some pretty good matches and more girls that we don't get to normally see, or girls that wouldn't stand a chance going against Rhea actually have a chance at a championship, which I think is like that was a good decision.
I I hate to bring it up, but it just seems inevitable to me that Lyra and the Women's Intercontinental Championship is going to get sucked into the PFC vortex.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I just see that being the easiest first story, especially with three of them. That's
Yeah.
three title defenses. I wish they had just more, because here's the thing. I don't hate them I just hate the presentation. I hate the name of the group. I think they could have came up with something better. Zoe
Mhm.
Stark is easily the unsung hero of that group. If you
Mhm.
follow her on social media, like she's trying. Shayna just doesn't need the group. I'm sorry, like Shayna just big, like you
It
can
was
tell
like
like this is the part of Shayna's career where she's like, I am who I am.
Yeah.
I got my girls with me to ride. Like, okay,
I think
we
this was
get
like
it.
an excuse because it was like they wanted all three of them to have like the same gimmick. And so it was like instead of having three like copies of each other, let's just put them in a group. And it's like, yeah, but then that's boring because there's like nothing different about them. They're all like, we're former fighters and we're strong and like
MMA.
we're not the typical like pretty girl woman, whatever that you're looking for. We're not Tiffany Stratton. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, like that's not like a character though. Like
No,
that's
it's
the
just the
vibe you're already
person.
giving off. We get it.
What else are you?
Yeah, that's the
What's
thing
deep
is
down
like
there?
they're not interesting. Like, you know? Um
TikToks are good though.
yeah.
Or yeah,
Shayna's especially. She's so funny and she doesn't even
she
say anything.
she does
She does,
nothing.
she
She's
doesn't say anything.
so anti videos.
Yeah, except when she's making her stew videos.
Stu, yes.
Yes. Another day, another stew. Anyway, moving on, we have Rhea Ripley, which we were talking about this earlier. So she is the new women's world champion, obviously, after beating Liv Morgan. And she came out to gloat about it. This was basically a really pointless segment, if we're being honest, but whatever. That's the thing.
I
It's
didn't
like,
care.
no,
It
this
was three people I liked, so
I just felt like this could have been a backstage thing. Like that's the thing is like I just don't care. But so Nia comes out and she teases about how she could potentially be traded from SmackDown to Raw, and then she calls out Bayley, who was in the audience, and then Bayley, as we know, was seen during the Netflix debut talking to Adam Pearce and kind of like hinting that maybe she's moving to Raw. So this was just more of that. And I'm not mad about it, honestly. I don't know that we need both Nia and Bayley on Raw, but I'm not mad about it because we've talked about it so many times that the women's division on SmackDown is way too packed. They need to move some of their bigger names to Raw, especially because we don't know what's going on with Becky Lynch. And obviously it doesn't seem like they're really going to be doing anything with Liv Morgan and
busy
Rhea
with other
Ripley right now.
projects. Yeah.
So there needs to be something. And if this is what we're going to get out of it, then sure. Rhea needs to have some more opponents to face for the championship and girls that can actually hang with her that you don't think that she's just going to like, you know, ring out because obviously she's so much bigger than them. So if this is what the direction is, sure. I don't know that I really want to see Rhea versus Nia Jax, but if that's what we're going to get next, then whatever. I need to see more than 2 title defenses from Rhea in a year's span. So
I'm all right with Rhea versus Nia. I don't mind it for now because Nia's been such an improvement over, in her second tenure here. Like everyone said, oh, Nia, what the hell was that last night and whatnot. I don't blame that on Nia. It was situational. She went out there and tried to do whatever she could with the shit that she was given. And
I don't think it was that bad.
No, it really wasn't that bad. It was a hometown.
Way worse.
Way worse. And the whole point of the segment was to get Bayley to do the hometown hero, save, hit the move, big pop to send them into the main event.
Yeah.
Like it's little stuff like that. Just learn it, whatever. It's little stuff like that you have to realize will that get the show moving, and it gets the wrestlers on screen without having a match and to keep them fresh. And of course you need to have Bayley do something in her hometown. Like they're not just going to have Raw Netflix. Yeah, she's on a different show, but Bayley, in my opinion, is the face of women in WWE, like wrestlers wise. You need to have her on Netflix when it comes to her hometown, even if it's something like that. And look what it did. It got us talking about a potential feud between Nia and Rhea. All right. Bayley moving over to Raw for good. And I know you might not agree with it, but I'm okay with Nia on Raw because it takes that star power off of SmackDown and it takes and it spreads out and equalizes the divisions.
Especially since Charlotte is going to be coming back and she's going to SmackDown. Yeah. It's like we do not need her on SmackDown if all of these other girls are also on SmackDown. That's way too much.
And we can't just have NXT call-ups go right to Raw, including
Yeah.
women.
Yeah, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. I don't disagree with you. This is what we talked about this too, is like they have to be careful with what they're doing with the draft, because like they start to discredit it when they just like randomly decide things. Like I'm not mad about them doing a transfer window, but I do think that that is something that we should have been told about from the beginning, instead of it just randomly being decided in December that, oh yeah, this is a thing now, you know. But yeah, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with. It's also like when I talked about like Logan Paul just getting matches, like that doesn't make any sense. Then you have like Roman Reigns needs to win the Rumble to get a rematch against Cody Rhodes. Like, what are we talking about? Like, that's the kind of stuff that's like stupid. But anyway, then we get to the main event, which was my fave, Fergie Ferg against Damien Mid Priest. That's right, mid. And a street fight. It was street trash in a street fight. And this match, I think, finally put this feud to an end, even though I'm pissed off about the ending, obviously, because I'm like, God damn, you really just don't want Finn to ever win a match, do you?
He just eats pins.
He's Pin Balor. Pin Balor,
yes. Put that on a t-shirt.
So yeah, it feels like we're gonna finally get out of this. I don't know what Damien Priest is gonna do next. I think that's gonna be super interesting, because again, it's like when there are people who are so involved in certain storylines for so long that you don't really get to see them outside of it. You're like, okay, how are you gonna fare not going against Judgment Day? The same thing with the Bloodline. How are you going to fare not having a storyline revolving around the Bloodline? So I am curious to see what they're going to do with Damien. I also don't know what they're going to do for Finn from here, because they've been teasing this drama within the Judgment Day, but we don't really know where that's going or what the end game is. But I did appreciate Damien whispering some sweet nothings to Finn during the pin, obviously. Yeah, I liked that, because I was like, that's right, brother, because Finn Balor is an absolute legend. I don't care what anyone says. You should be thankful, because he's eating this.
They had a nice little ride together. They had a nice little journey together. But
Sure.
It's time for them to go their separate paths.
Yeah, I just wish that it was more beneficial to Finn.
Who knows? With the whole, like, this year, we could see Finn Balor in the title picture. It's very much in play.
I told you I don't think that's happening. We are never going to see Finn Balor as World Heavyweight Champion or WWE Champion. It's not happening. That time has passed. I'm telling you. It's my prediction.
Not?
It's not happening.
I could absolutely see him with a World Heavyweight title picture.
No.
Like,
he might be in the picture. I'm saying he's not going to ever win.
I think he can give a little reign, because he needs cronies.
I don't
like have him recreate on a very small scale Bullet Club him.
I have wanted
we
that
need to see him with like cronies. Like Judgment Day was never fully his. When he was in it, yeah, he helped kick Edge out, but like who was really the leader? It was none of them. And then when they finally decided that they wanted to have leaders, it was Rhea Ripley. And then next after Rhea Ripley, it was Damien Priest. They all rose for Damien Priest. And now that they're both gone, now we have Judgment Day with Finn as leader, and you got Carlito and JD McDonough. So,
excuse me, what was his name?
Fuckwad looking head.
JD McDaddy, excuse you. So
I'm not calling him daddy.
Why? He's so daddy. Anyway, so yeah, I've just wanted to see Finn. I wanted to see Prince Devitt in WWE. That's all I wanted. But you know, it feels like it's been asking too much, because they've teased so much of the Bullet Club in WWE, and it just never happened. They never did anything with it. Like they never actually went full Bullet Club, which is unfortunate. Anyway, I hate Nerd thinks that he has a 90% chance to being champion if he was on SmackDown. I don't know. Cody Rhodes is untouchable. He's untouchable right now.
No, and he's more Finn, I hate to say it, is world heavyweight champion. Like that's where
Stop
he's gonna get his
disrespecting the
world
GOAT
champion.
right now.
I'm not disrespecting him. I'm thinking big picture. All right.
I would love for Finn to just have an iconic run. Okay. I want to see a heel run by Finn, though, like a proper heel run, not the like weird whatever they're trying to do right now. I want to see it
people were
what?
teasing the demon last night.
No, fuck the demon. No.
Yeah, I see a
The
lot of
demon is
demons.
dead. Stop. No.
Was
Absolutely not.
buried by Edge or
Yeah,
Cope.
fuck Edge. Okay. That's why I'm
Cope?
telling.
Nope.
No. Yeah.
That's my new
nope.
favorite. That's my favorite thing now. I saw that on
Nope.
Twitter. I'm
Nope.
like, Cope? Nope.
Yep. Nope. Nope. Absolutely not.
He's killing the Death Rider story, and it makes me so sad.
He's been a face like his whole career. That's the thing. He's
What
like
do you mean?
if people are not
his entire
familiar,
first run.
people do not understand Bullet Club era
No,
Finn
his
Balor.
New Japan
Like
was crazy shit.
I get it was over 10 years ago, but we haven't even like scratched the surface of what Finn could be as a bad guy in WWE.
Oh my
we have not seen
God.
it yet. And I think that we deserve to see that before he gets to a point where he's not wrestling anymore. I mean, he's like 45 years old. So
when you've hung with Kenny Omega in the ring and in the same faction, you kind of deserve your flowers.
maybe once the bloodline is over, we can actually see him. Oh
That's
God.
the issue. Is
Him
that
and
the
Tama
bloodline? There's a
Gallows and
Wrestle Kingdom
Anderson.
match. What are they up to? Just collecting a
AJ
check?
and AJ Styles. No,
He
injured.
actually is doing something. He's
AJ Styles is
recovering.
injured, and I don't remember if it was
It's
Anderson or
challenging. Did you
Gallows
see
is
that?
also injured. So
Oh, so one of the other. Oh, but did you see
Yeah.
AJ Styles said that the injury is
Yep.
challenging the recovery.
yes,
That sucks.
Yes, because people thought that it might
That's-
end his career.
Yeah,
So
that sucks. I
But
don't want to see
imagine
my
that,
favorite go out
bro.
like that.
Imagine that group. Yes, that's what I'm
Jesus.
saying. Give us the OG bloodline.
Yeah. OG Bloodline?
I'm sorry, OG Bullet Club. Sorry. I'd be into it.
Problem is though, and like I hate to burst everyone's bubble here, but Pop Goes the Weasel. Copyright, and it's a New Japan thing.
No, they're not gonna be the Bullet Club. They would be like the what do they call the OC or whatever the fuck. They could do something. They can be something else. They can create a different name, but they can still be the original members of the Bullet Club, just in WWE in their own thing. That's all I meant.
That would be crazy. Okay, so going off of that too, if they did that, there would be Bullet Club variations or variants for my Marvel peeps in WWE, AEW, TNA, and obviously New Japan.
Yeah, but
That's
the
four
WWE
wrestling promotions.
Yeah, but WWE would be the best one because it was the originators, the creators.
People would disagree that would be the best one at the moment.
No.
I'm just gonna throw it. They're gonna disagree.
And I'm just telling you that you're wrong because Finn Balor and Tama Tonga were the creators of the Bullet Club, and
I'm saying
nobody,
now, like if you put
none of the other Bullet Clubs would exist if it weren't for them.
Correct, but people would argue that what Gabe
That's
Kidd
fine.
is doing right now is incredible.
Don't care.
And that's your opinion. That's why wrestling's great, because you can have your opinion, they can have theirs, but at the end of the day, we're all watching the same shit and enjoying it. So,
But
beauty of
yeah,
wrestling. Oh, did you get to all these comments? I see I have 12 comments.
Go
Are you
for it.
a New Japan dude? I'll watch some shit.
No, I get it. I'm being biased. I'm just saying because the
Clearly.
OG members of the Bullet Club are in WWE. That's what would make them number one. That's all.
I'd like to see some fun stuff like that. I want to see some fun stuff like that in 2025 where we don't, like, for a while it feels like we've been able to predict it and be, just follow the path. Like, oh yeah, we saw it there. Not a lot of twists and turns. I feel like in 2025 we're gonna see a lot of twists and turns. Like,
Maybe.
I could see something happen with KO and Drew. That was what I wanted to tease. And then I wanted your opinion on the run times for the first two episodes. So we had obviously the hour and 3 hours and 10 minutes, maybe a little bit more. And then we had 2 hours and 2.5 hours and some change in this one. Do you like that there's no set time?
I do because I think that it should depend on like I don't want to see a lot of filler stuff. And I think that's what ends up happening when they have like a dead set time of like, okay, you have to be on air for 3 hours. That's when you get like more commercial breaks, or you get like more stupid segments that like added literally nothing to any part of the show. And so when I think, I feel like there was still some pointless stuff that we saw last night, because you could argue the Miz carrying cross Sami Zayn thing was not necessary, nor was the match. But like, that isn't as stupid as other things that we've seen in the past, like where
Oh
you're
yeah, that
not getting
wasn't
like
stupid.
where
Yes, I
it's
agree.
or getting 3 of those kinds of things, you know what I mean, in a normal 3-hour Raw, and it's like, okay, we didn't need to see any of this. Like, if it's just one, then I'm like, okay, cool. But I do think that it makes more sense that way, because I think there's going to be weeks where they definitely should be 3 hours. Maybe they should be 3.5 hours. There's going to be times where maybe, yeah, it is just 2.5 hours. And it's like, okay, but you feel like that was good. You didn't feel like anything needed to necessarily be cut. You don't feel like you missed out on anything. Like, to me, that's the best way to go about it, instead of trying to force something to every single week. And then we're sitting here being like, why did that happen? Why did we see that?
No reason, yeah. Ooh. All right. And yeah, that's all we got for you guys here as NXT graces your television screens. Do you want me to spoil it for you, Sarah? Are you
Spoil
gonna what just happened on NXT?
what? Sure.
Shotzi just pinned Stephanie Beckor.
Oh lordy. Okay.
I know it's probably like, why did Shotzi do that? Why that? Fatal influence
Mm-hmm.
is the reason for that.
Yeah. Well,
Which I
I
didn't
mean,
mind. And Cora
this
Jade
is
just got bitch slapped.
this is going to be the 5th time that they're going to try to push Shotzi. It's like the 5th time.
Probably. And I just watched Cora Jade get bitch slapped by Kalani Jordan. So that was kind of cool. That makes me want to tune in more. Thank you, HBK. They're doing a continuation shot of Stephanie Beckor looking. See, that's why NXT's getting it. Like shit like this. They're doing a picture-in-picture with the commercial, and then they're just following Stephanie Beckor to the back to try to find Fatal Influence. Like, this is the type of revolutionary shit that AEW and other promotions are not doing, that WWE is getting ahead of, and that's why they are on another level than everyone else. All right, rant over. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this edition of the Raw Rewind, presented to you by Pitts and Sarah's Wrestling Show. No nights off. We'll be back on Thursday this week. Go live. Then we might have something else to drop that day as well. Be on the lookout for that. And then follow us. I can't even say TikTok because we're gone in 5 days. So new strategy, next big thing, you hop on that, we ride that wave. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll like and subscribe there. You already like and subscribe here. And if you don't already, what are you doing? Go do that and go check out our vids in the archives and all that. So yeah, that's all we got. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you could do it. All you gotta do is try. We'll see you on Thursday.